Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
I mean, just seeing what the Rams did all last year, I just feel confident that he's going to be calling some great plays. He knows the personnel. He knows who we are as receivers. So he knows when and where to get us the ball when we need it.
That's right.
Let's do it, baby. All right, let's go get it.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson, that little bleep-eating grin on his face, thinking, yeah, I'm going for 1,800 yards, 11 touchdowns, and about 132 catches this season. He looks very excited about the potential of this offense. And so are we, because we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die on this show, Purple Daily, Daily Vikings Entertainment, presented by Surly Brewing Company and TCL. Redefine creativity with the TCL 30V 5G smartphone. Enjoy blazing fast 5G speed and an AI-powered 50-megapixel triple camera system. Ugh.
Football.
Yeah.
Oh, that is football.
Ultra-realistic and true-to-life visuals powered by NextVision and booming sound from the dual speakers. Learn more at TCL.com. Gentlemen, we are about 48 hours away from the start of the Vikings regular season, the start of the Kevin O'Connell era. And this is a Feedback Friday where we basically just answer all your questions, comments, concerns, critiques. You can always hit us up through the Score North app, Twitter. You can always hit us up on any social media platform. And we will be adding some new Purple Daily and Vikings Twitter cabinet members later on the show here today. We are overwhelmed by how many applications we received in the last week. Overwhelmed, all right? It's been tough. Just been under a mountain of resumes, basically. Sifting through. Paper cuts everywhere. It's been a tough ride. Let's start with Jeffrey Fournier here via the Score North app. He says, it's abundantly clear from watching this game tonight, meaning the Bills and Rams, that Kevin O'Connell was the straw stirring the drink in L.A. the last couple of years. And now us Vikings fans will be sucking on that. Wow, I don't know if I can read this.
Sucking on a Surly, perhaps? A logic bomb? A Furious?
Let's just say, I'll paraphrase it by saying, Vikings fans should be very excited. Very excited. Also, your show doesn't suck.
Hey.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thanks,
We
Jeff.
appreciate that compliment.
All right.
What did you guys think that? I mean, they did lose Andrew Whitworth and some other key players last night, but I don't know. Kind of felt like the magic was gone, and maybe the magic left for Minnesota.
If Kevin O'Connell called plays, I would be on board with that. I would say absolutely, but he didn't call plays there. So, no, I think there were factors outside of KOC that probably led to the Rams' demise. One of them being the Buffalo Bills are really damn good. That's not a bad football team. They're a fun team.
No, but I think I actually, in a Write That Down predictions a couple months back, I actually have the Rams missing the playoffs. It's a little bit of a bold take, but it kind of felt like, wow, they just climbed to the top of the mountain. They went to a Super Bowl a few years ago, then they finally got there, and then they lost their left tackle, and Sean McVay was hinting at retirement, and Aaron Donald was hinting at retirement, and it all kind of adds up to me to they're probably going to start kind of slow. It's not going to be the same vibe as last year. So I attribute that more to what we saw in that game last night. I'm more excited about the fact that the Vikings are tapping from one of the best organizations in the NFL, one of the bright young coaches in the NFL, and if Kevin O'Connell can be 80% of what Sean McVay has been in Los Angeles these last 5 or 6 years, then the Vikings hit a home run with this hire. So that's kind of where I'm at. Dex, did you feel like the Vikings stole the secret sauce after watching that game?
I don't know if they stole the secret sauce, but I mean, you stole a chef in that kitchen. That was pretty dang important to what they were doing over the last few years. And, Sean McVay came in, kind of turned around Jared Goff, and then they realized, hey, Jared Goff isn't that great. But, Sean McVay was such a genius. He was able to almost plug in. Was it like, who was the guy that came in for Jared Goff in 2019, 2020, and just almost basically led them through the playoffs as well. Like they almost plucked in any quarterback they wanted to, and it was successful. But I do think Kevin O'Connell, Wes Phillips having the football bloodline in him. Yes, I mean it takes a village to raise that entire team. It wasn't just all Sean McVay, and they definitely got a pretty good chef in their kitchen there.
All right, Paul Wade via the Score North app says, after listening to your Packer Vikings Week 1 predictions, I almost thought I was listening to the wrong radio station. Or maybe
Heyo.
you guys are auditioning for a show over there.
Oh.
As a Gen 4 Vikings fan who has seen all 4 Super Bowl losses, I hope you're right, but I can't drink any more purple Kool-Aid. We all had the Vikings beating the Packers in our picking of the schedule. So
Apparently, there's certain threads who are usually pretty harsh on the Score North folk here that were shocked that the three of us picked the Vikings to be double-digit wins in 2022. Shocked, they were floored.
yeah, there's 2 Reddit threads basically saying like, "Wow, Score North
Who
has
are these
them at
guys?
10 or 11 wins. This is crazy."
I'd be shocked if we had gone to like 13 wins. I mean, 10 wins is not asking a ton.
Again, I think what's happening here, and we've talked about this a million times on the show, is there's a certain level of blind optimism and positivity that gets fed to fans through certain sections of the media. And when we come in and are critical, and it's like, guys, the Vikings haven't been above 500 in almost 1,000 days.
Right.
And people are like, you guys are just haters. No, we are reflecting and reacting to what the team is doing. Again, they haven't been above 500 in 1,000 days. A franchise that's the best franchise in NFL history to not win a Super Bowl. We hold them to a high standard. And so we poke and critique. I think go to Mackie and Judd if you guys haven't listened to our other show. And go listen to some of the wild shows from last year.
About to
and
say,
the Timberwolves shows. Like when a team deserves praise, we will shower them with praise. It just so happens that in the last 2 or 3 years, the Vikings have not risen to the level that they should be at. And that's why a bunch of people got fired last year and stuff. So, how could Score North? Whoa, what a shocker. It's like, no, there's some people that think they're going to win 13 games, 14 games. We're coming in at 10 or 11. It's fair.
It's very fair.
Mm-hmm. All right. John Jensen here via the Score North app. I have a quick question or observation to run by you to see what you think. First of all, I loved Alex Boone's first podcast this week. It is excellent. If you haven't checked it out yet, Trenches with Boone. I hope it could develop into more than just the NFL season. Kind of depends on Alex's schedule and business. Big fan of Score North and Boone. I was mad when the Vikings released him. Anyways, my thought is I believe the Vikings have already locked up Ndamukong Suh. The Vikings are waiting until next week to announce it, so the contract's not guaranteed. Why would they start punching holes in the defensive line with below-average players? No one has mentioned Bullard about starting until today. Keep bringing the great content. Do you think they have a handshake agreement with Suh?
I don't think so, but I get the point. No, I think that they are going to be in contention there. Now, but if you look at, and I think from what Dukes has told us, Suh wants to be paid. And I saw the salary caps, the current salary cap space was tweeted out by Field Yates yesterday. And I want to say the Vikings were third to last.
Field Yates.
Field Yates.
A great football name.
Of ESPN. I think the Vikings were third to last. So I wouldn't go so far as to say that there is a handshake deal, because there could easily be another team within the next week that steps in and offers more. That being said, do I think that the Vikings are in contention after week 1 to add Ndamukong Suh? Absolutely. And I think it would be a great depth move. They need some depth on that line.
So the fact that he's looking to get paid a lot of money, it's like, I think a lot of different smart people and even like PFF would tell you that he's not the same player he was 3 or 4 years ago. That he's kind of just almost like a replacement level player in some ways. He would be a part-time player for you. So if he can come in and understand that, I'm all for it.
He even tweeted out on Friday morning, like around 7 a.m. Central Time. He pointed out this chart, and it was like dopamine released by various activities. And, your food, it gives you this amount. Video games give you this amount. Amphetamines give you this amount. And then he made a line that says, when the best free agent signs with your team, and it's just a humongous bar of dopamine. So he's putting the feelers out there for sure. I'm with Judd. If you remove the salary cap equation, like, it makes a lot of sense. Like, they are thin on defensive tackle. They don't really have anyone that scares you necessarily. So adding someone like that could be fun, but the salary cap space, I think, makes it almost impossible or really, really tough to do.
Field Yates.
Field Yates, baby.
What a great name. All right, this is a great story from Skylar Parkhurst via the Score North app. All right, it's a little lengthy, so stick with me here, but it's a funny payoff. He goes, I got a story for you guys. I'm 36 years old. I live in Utah. I love the NFL. And then he explains in the story that he's never really had like a team. He was kind of a Jets fan as a kid, but then moved off the Jets for obvious reasons. He's also a diehard Jazz fan, which comes into play later on here.
Okay.
One of my best friends growing up has been a diehard Vikings fan since we were kids. Loves Moss. Just got sucked into fanhood from his early days, the Randy Moss era. Recently, I've been able to reconnect with my Vikings fan friend. And so he's been traveling for work and they reconnected. And to better converse with him, I started listening to your podcast on my drives. 100% transparency. Originally, I started listening to your podcast to make fun of my friend about his Vikings fandom, and so I could have proper knowledge to really go at him, which is that's very conniving in a charming way.
I like it. I love it.
While listening to you, Judd, and Declan, I found the Vikings fans are basically the Jazz fans of the NFL. Everything you were saying resonated to my core. I had found a football home. I haven't missed an episode of Purple Daily since that moment. Amazing. Now, fast forward to the best part of the story. So my buddy and I have been talking Vikings nonstop since that moment, and he asked me, is this more than just a joke to you? Like, are you actually a Vikings fan now? And I was adamant, yes, bro, I'm in. You guys are my people. I love the Vikings, even though I'm new. I feel the anguish. I am one of you. And he continues, he says, so this is him talking to his friend. He goes, today, I was listening to Mackey and Judd. My buddy interrupts me. Wait, Phil Mackey? That guy's a clown. You need to stop listening to his stuff. He is the worst kind of Vikings fan, bro. He is a Kirk hater.
Oh, no!
You like that? You like that?
I died laughing, Skylar said. I had your back and explained the concept to him. It's simple. If you don't believe Kirk can deliver a Super Bowl and you know that having him rostered makes less money available for other pieces, you can cut bait and start over again. It's simple. It's championship or bust. I would trade every one of the 20 straight playoff appearances for the Jazz for one championship. One championship before I die. Keep up the good fight and know that the real ones feel your pain and yearn for a Super Bowl before we die.
Oh my God. So he was so he started to listen to troll his friend and mock the Vikings.
Yes.
But then what really irritated his friend was the fact that Phil Mackey's on that. That's great.
I was listening to Mackey and Judd. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Those haters,
That
those
was
clowns.
That's a great story.
Amazing. Well, you know, the loyalty of listening to the show is great. You can also help us. If you really want to help us, you can support our sponsors, starting with Surly Brewing Company. Cheers to Surly during one of these games. Show us your cans, the Before I Die cans.
And actually, that's perfect because you know what? I started last night. National Football League is back. I love this time, the Thursday night kickoff. It's always a great game. In fact, you know what that game was? That game was the bomb. But it wasn't the bomb as much as the bomb in my hand was the Logic Bomb. Ladies and gentlemen, I have more and more folks saying, you know what, Judd? Thank you, because I tried Logic Bomb, and it's really good. And I want you to find out in what remains the summer of Surly how good this beer is. It's refreshing. It is outstanding. Of course, there are so many good beers, including Before I Die from our friends at Surly Brewing. But Logic Bomb, to me, that is one that's going to finish in first place in the beer standings.
First place in the dog food standings on Mackey and Judd and Purple Daily is Nutrisource, a third-generation family-owned company out of Perham, Minnesota. On the YouTube channel, this is my dog, Maya, very excitedly licking her chops as I hold a cup of, look at who's a good girl.
Good girl.
Put the bowl down, Mackie. Put the bowl down.
I just needed some content here real quick. So I held the cup of food out and she just jumped up a couple times and then I fed her.
Oh, look at Maya.
The tongue out's the best.
If you want your dog to have a giant goofy grin on his or her face, Judd, what kind of food should you be feeding your dog?
1,000% from our friends at Nutrisource, which is outstanding. And not only the food, but Phil, as I'm sure Maya can attest because Stella does on a daily basis. The snacks as well. Look at that right there, huh? The snacks, the dogs love them. Fantastic. Yes. If you have listened to our show and said, you know what, Judd, Phil, and Dex are right, Surly is my beer now, and you have that dog in your house, Nutrisource needs to be their food because we would not steer you wrong when it comes to the most important things in life, and beer and dog food are among them.
Exactly. NutrisourcePetFoods.com to find a retailer near your NutrisourcePetFoods.com. We press on, as one of my former U of M college professors used to say all the time. Let's press on.
That's an old, you know what? That's an old school thing. I used to hear that too.
He was
press on now.
It was some sort of like it was like music from 1975 to 2000 or something, and he would sit up there. He would play like a prog rock song from Yes from the late 70s.
Well, that's a great class.
Let's press on.
I knew I shouldn't have quit school.
God would love that class. Yeah,
I knew I shouldn't have quit school.
Just go take that class and then quit again. Be worth your money. Or you could just watch YouTube videos of music. Joshua Keel via the Score North app says. This is just another fun little story here. I went to Brett Favre's first home game against San Francisco in 2009. My mind and ears were ringing after that game, and I was in complete shock over what happened. Greg Lewis in the back of the end zone. Then I went to game 163 between the Twins and Tigers a little over a week later. 2 amazing games at once. I was part of the biggest regular season crowd ever in Twins history. And then there was the Packers Favre game. That was one of the great, like, week and a half or 2 week stretches in Metrodome history. Easy. Greg Lewis, Favre beating the Packers at the Dome, game 163.
For a stadium that I consider to this day to be a dump, like it was built on the cheap, it wasn't great. You know how many great events and games that place hosted? I mean, it hosted arguably the best World Series of all time.
Yeah.
As you just said, that stretch was fantastic. It hosted Final Fours. It's so weird because the place, in my opinion, was a dump. But if you go back through its history in a relatively short time, I mean, it's not like 50 or 60 years, it had more like big events, memorable events than most, I think.
Super Bowl, World Series, Final Fours. Wasn't there a tennis
Final
open?
Fours, right?
Wasn't there a major open there too?
No, not
Was there a tennis open?
Tennis?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wimbledon played. They played Wimbledon one year in the.
I thought maybe. I thought
there's
there was
no
a
tennis
major.
in there, but
What am I thinking of?
I'm not quite sure. I don't ever think we've had a big.
I want to dig
event in
deeper
this
on
town.
which tennis event. I mean, you clearly have a tennis memory of the Metrodome.
Yeah. 1 second. Carry on the show.
No,
I'll let you know.
I want to know.
Did your brother play tennis there when you were little?
I just remember. I remember there was like a
He told you?
factoid of it was like an 18-month stretch where it was a World Series, a Super Bowl, a final. There was like
91.
7 to 8
the
major.
French Open. They played the French Open at the Metrodome.
Okay. We had the World Series. You're correct. The Super Bowl, which was 92, right?
Monster truck rallies.
Grave digger. The Promise Keepers was my favorite. Promise Keepers was unbelievable. Place was packed. You couldn't get in. Place was packed for Promise Keepers.
What's Promise Keepers?
It was a group started by Bill McCartney, who was the coach at Colorado at the time, for like husbands who were like just really straight and narrow, walk the line of good faith and God fearing, blah blah blah. But it was like that whole thing. That place was packed for Promise Keepers.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think there was tennis decks.
Did you find any tennis correlations? Metrodome. Did you Google Metrodome tennis?
Yeah, I did, and there's nothing.
I don't think. I don't.
I feel like they played the Australian Open there one year.
Why are you doing that to him? He's got a memory. He's
They
born
had
in the 90s.
the Stones played there, Pink Floyd played there, Genesis played there, Guns N'
McCartney?
Roses played there, Van Halen played there.
Oh, it's huge.
The
Yeah.
Beach
acoustics there
Boys.
must have been.
Oh God,
shit.
Bob Dylan.
terrible.
They were atrocious, but then I believe by the 90s at some point in time, I think the artists like McCartney would bring in their own sound systems, which helped a lot.
Okay.
But yes, originally they were awful.
I mean, you could barely hear. They did like the Kirby Puckett memorial thing, and like anytime they would have a ceremony
Bounced
there,
off
you
everything.
couldn't hear anything. You'd be Hello, welcome.
And Kirby, pocket, was a great man.
All right, Aga A via the Score North app says, "Hey guys, been listening to you guys for almost a year now. This is going to be my first year in a while where I have paid this much attention to a Vikings team and season, and I can't help but be excited. However, I think I need a bit of Judd's wisdom because the purple Kool-Aid has gone to my head, and maybe I'm not aware of how easy it is for things to go wrong in a season. Have there been previous seasons like this where the offseason is so positive but the results don't quite hit the mark?"
That's not too hard to answer that one. 2010, 2009, they brought the whole team back, and everybody. I mean, I can't tell you how south that went quickly, but if you guys recall, going from 2009 into 10, like the expectation was, oh my God, you almost made the Super Bowl, and we all know Favre. In the end, he's coming back, right? And once Favre came back, and what those three guys went and got him from his home, we all thought, okay, oh my God, this team's going to make another run, and it was a disaster. So yes, there are examples. Here's what I would say. So that's the negative, because yes, things can go very wrong. And look, if Kirk gets hurt or something, things are going to go wrong. But what I would say is, I think a large part of the excitement about this team is new beginnings. And when you have a new beginning, that's different. Because like Phil's right. Like if things don't go great, I don't think the fans are going to be like, Kevin O'Connell sucks. You guys, fire people. They're going to have some room here to build this thing. And so I do think that the advantage here is the optimism of the fact that things are changing. And I don't think you can necessarily kill that one, right? Like, because people were tired of Zimmer, they were tired of Spielman. So, like, there's just a natural grace period that's going to fit here that actually works. So I would not try to, like, sabotage your enthusiasm, because I think the enthusiasm comes from a genuine point of what does this potential or new era of Viking football mean?
Yeah, there's a honeymoon period here, and I think there's a pretty high floor. And even if Kirk gets hurt and they underachieve, like it'll be sad or whatever for fans, but there's going to be a lot of, I think, understanding of what's happening here. Warren Andruko via the Score North app says, "I love the Purple Daily podcast, and so does my dog Bear, because I take him for a walk each time a new episode shows up on my phone. Make sure you get Bear some Nutrisource chicken and rice food there and some treats. Who's a good boy? Keep up the great work, my friends," which also means calling out certain players and coaches when necessary. If some of your listeners don't like the taste of reality, then they need to spend more time with Disney shows where everything is perfect. But that is not the real world. It's most certainly not the world the Vikes and their fan base. Warren, thank you for listening and for being part of our little club here. Speaking of our little club here, it is time now, gentlemen, to appoint some new Purple Daily and Vikings Twitter cabinet members.
Oh, my God.
We were overwhelmed by the amount of application submissions that you guys sent in. This all started as, I don't know, I thought it would be fun to be the Vikings Twitter CEO when people were divided earlier in the offseason.
I thought you were named that by the board.
I then went to one of my connections on the board and said, I see there's an opening for CEO of Vikings Twitter. Would you consider my resume? I've been a Vikings fan and a Vikings reporter and a Vikings commentator and a Vikings ranter for 30 plus years.
Yep.
All right. I covered the Brett Favre Vikings in 2009. I gave my whole resume. And the board of directors took about 5 seconds and said, we need you to oversee Vikings Twitter, to bring together the Kirk Crusaders and the Kirk haters as one entering the 2022 season. And from there, we started appointing just here and there, just some other cabinet positions. We finally have a title for Judd that we're going to unveil today. Declan is the clickbait officer.
Great job.
But the ball has rolled down the hill here. Let's just go through some of these. All right, Sam Meggs via the Score North app. Resume to the CEO of Vikings Twitter. Requested role, Vice President of Emotional Roller Coaster Takes, Ontario, Canada Division. Education. Covering my eyes during the Blair Walsh kick, only to hear my mother-in-law cheer. I uncovered my eyes in excitement just to see he missed. She was confused because the crowd cheered. To add to the situation, it was during my daughter's birthday party, so I couldn't react out loud. Oof.
Oh, my God.
I almost feel like
my
you should
God.
be the vice president of emotional suppression. But
I guess I got one question, though. I got one question before I personally can sign off on this appointment. Couldn't you put your kid's birthday off to the next week?
what?
Like I feel like you need to be all in for that.
Put the
kid.
birth, the
typically,
birthday party or the actual birthday?
The birthday
No,
party is
the birthday party.
The birthday party is planned before the playoff schedule comes out. It's a whole thing. You
know
don't
what?
have kids. That's
you-
probably
wait.
why it happened.
Hold on a second, Declan. You know as well as I do that there is a late season Vikings game this year that has 2 dates, right? Or it started with 2 dates because we didn't know. So like you got to tell your kid, okay, tentatively we'll pencil in your party, sweetie, for this Sunday, but there might be a chance we got to move it.
Well, sometimes the wife doesn't
I don't
want
have
that,
kids, but I have a
spouse doesn't want
loyalty
that.
and okay, you know what? If my spouse is going to get involved in a Vikings playoff game, we got problems. Counseling.
If you guys want some more life, marriage, and relationship and
Counseling.
parenting
Got him,
advice,
Declan.
Judd Zolgad is here. So is Declan. So I think Sam, we're gonna make it just based on your education here. I think we're gonna make your role the vice president of Vikings emotional suppression because think about the work that it took you to not show emotion after the Blair Walsh missed kick, for God's sake. So
Good for you.
Sam Meggs,
Congratulations. Sam.
welcome
Just
to the
passed.
Vikings Twitter and Purple Daily Cabinet.
You passed into it.
This next one's from Sniper Gary via the Score North app. I am a retired U.S. Army sniper. I would like to apply for the VP of security for your team.
Whatever you want, dude. Whatever you want. You take whatever you want. I'm not walking out of my house and no.
You guys are borderline celebrities and need protection when in public. Sniper Gary, we're not standing in your way. You are the vice
Thank you,
president of
Gary.
security
Thank
for
you,
Purple
Gary.
Daily and Vikings Twitter.
I will say there's very nice people that come up in public. I've yet to ever have someone negative. I'm kind of waiting for that to happen. Hey, Declan, you're at Score, right? You suck. I've been waiting for that to happen.
You suck, pal.
Yeah, seriously, I've been waiting for it to happen. I have gotten, hey, you're at KFXN, right? No, that's not me.
I had someone one time, I was at a bar in Hopkins, 10 years ago on like Main Street Drag. I can't remember which bar it
Yeah,
was. And I had a guy sit down and literally tried to challenge my sports knowledge over. He bought me a beer. He's like, hey, I listen to your show. I listen to your radio show.
I've had that.
And then he buys me a beer. And so we're sitting there. I think I told this story on the radio. And so we're sitting there for at least the 5 minutes it's going to take me to respectfully drink this beer. Probably more like 10 or 15 because I don't want to just chug it and leave. He bought me a beer, right? And he sat there and he was like, it wasn't like a friendly sports conversation. He was quizzing me with trivia. And I was like, dude, what are we doing? You can't trap someone into this.
Doesn't work.
Anyhow, all right. Sandy Bow here via the Score North app.
Sandy.
I would love to be in your cabinet. I love animals, riding ATVs, living off the grid with my camper that has solar panels. I honestly would like to work with whoever is in charge to change the old worn out Vikings theme song.
Oh, the Skull Chant? Like or Skull Vikings, I mean? Skull Vikings.
Yeah, I think I got it right here.
Right?
Yeah. This right here.
It's been changed before, though, as far as it's been updated at times.
Sounds pretty old.
No, I love that. No.
love
We ain't
it.
touching
I love
that
it, too.
song.
Yeah, sorry, Matt LaFleur.
With all the upgrades on the team, we need an upgraded theme song. Put me to work. So I think for Sandy Bow here, I think director of Vikings theme song operations is pretty
that.
straightforward.
And send something in. I'll listen to it. I'm just not inclined to change it.
Well, looks like Sandy's got an uphill climb here with this position, but Sandy, you can make this work.
Life's full of challenges, Phil.
Garrett Schrupp via the Score North app says, I listen to every single episode every day, and after the cabinet appointees the other day, I'd like to humbly ask to be considered as the chief executive of Vikings jerseys, hats, and hoodies. My qualifications are I own and operate 17 different 17 different hoodies, one for every week they play, 6 jerseys, including a Dalvin, a Favre, a Harrison, a Culpepper, and the all-important Randy Moss. I appreciate the consideration, and I apologize for the long message. Love the show. It's an open position right now. The chief executive of jerseys, hats, and hoodies for Purple Daily and Vikings Twitter.
You got it.
Sound qualified to me. Dunedin Dave via the Score North app. He actually put the pronunciation for Dunedin as if Judd didn't vacation down in Dunedin for years and years of his life.
Dunedin.
I would have not gotten it.
Dunedin.
So he probably did it for me.
Dunedin is what.
Yeah, I would have
Some
said
great
that.
bars, Declan. Some great
would've- I
bars
would've
in
said
that
that.
small Florida hamlet.
Some great Blue Jays spring training baseball down there too. He says, I hereby submit my application for a seat on the Purple Daily board for the Tampa Bay chapter. Where was the who was the Tampa Bay? What was that?
Denny, they lost a game to the Packers in Green Bay, and I think it was the game that Jimmy Hitchcock, the cornerback, screwed up, and Chris Carter had like gone after him as far as with the press. And I believe that then Denny did his press conference, and the reporters are like, what's going on with that, blah blah blah. And Denny, in great Denny fashion, goes, we're like, it's moments after a loss to the Packers, and he says, we are looking forward questions about Tampa Bay. We're looking forward now. We're not looking back. We're going to look forward. So he basically tries to turn it into let's talk about Tampa Bay after the loss.
That was his on to Cincinnati moment, basically.
Yes, but I would say funnier.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Bill Belichick was...
Because Bill just doesn't care about
is
being
not funny. Dunedin Dave continues, I'm a lifelong Vikings fan, Minnesota native, frequent Purple Daily listener that has suffered through all of the heartbreaks. I can go toe-to-toe with almost anyone on team history. My first cognizant memory is of the 1969 season. First favorite receiver was the original 84 Gene Washington. I went to Mankato State, spent 3 years in Gage Hall, and I knew all of the specials at the Albatross. Tommy Kramer once blamed me for Burns busting him on curfew one night because I told TK where the after-bar party was. We moved to Tampa Bay 7 years ago, settled into Dunedin, and I keep pushing some of my brewers to get Surly on tap. Good call. Yep. If my application were to be accepted, I will be very gracious. I think, you know what? The Gage Hall thing is very interesting. I think you should be the Gage Hall ambassador of Purple Daily and Vikings Twitter to keep the memories of the old Vikings training camp dorm alive. They tore it down, right?
Oh, yeah. Imploded it. I stayed there in the 90s like 3 times. Because we used to be, the media used to have the opportunity to stay in the wing opposite of where the players were.
It's hilarious.
And so like we could stay there. Oh, God, it was a dump. It was just a dump.
Just sitting in a
dorm bed.
in shared bathrooms and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah, it was
Bathrooms.
total college crap.
Beer
yeah.
case over his head. I can see it.
So Dunedin Dave, you are the Gage Hall ambassador.
Albatross was great, too, you guys.
And
What a bar.
boys, I'm gonna fly through these here. Those were some of the featured resumes that came in here. We have another at least 30 cabinet members that I just want to rapid fire name. But all these applications came in, and we've sorted out job titles here collectively, and we are excited to beef up our cabinet. First of all, Judd, we finally landed on a title for you. You are hereby the Chief Beverage Distribution Operator of Purple Daily and Vikings Twitter. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The new Chief Reality Officer is Darren Bloomquist. The assistant to the regional manager of the New Jersey branch of Purple Daily is Low Carb Beer Steve. The Canadian fan ambassador is Warren Andruko. Judd's official social substitute for situations that involve talking to coworkers is Jacob Powell. That should take a load off you in the hallways.
Yeah.
Jacob, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
The new Chief Fitness Officer, the CFO of Swole, is Michael Albro of Purple Daily and Vikings Twitter. The Vice President of International Vikings Affairs is Ryan Zimmer, no relation.
For now.
The Director of DMV Vikings Relations, DMV being the region, the DC, Maryland, Virginia region, is at Skol All Day on Twitter. We have a new Chief Hot Take Police Officer, by the way. His name is Pulford Skol.
I'm about to say Pulford, right?
Yeah.
Had to be.
He is the new Chief Hot Take Police Officer down in Tennessee.
Good to have you on board, Pulford.
In an official capacity, yep. Vikes Fan 47 is the Director of Intra-Governmental Affairs East Coast Region. The Chief Pro Wrestling Officer of Purple Daily is J.J. Leonard, who will work very closely with Declan Goff going forward.
I need to meet him. We have to get on a Zoom call here.
The Senior Director of Kirk Cousins' Hate Georgia Division is Evan Beckford. That might be
Evan.
a short
Buddy.
lasting position. Just if Kirk
Hater.
has a big season or something.
Yeah, that's fine.
The unwavering Vikings loyalty supervisor, North Carolina division, is Daniel Smith. Congratulations. The vice president of Randy Moss Memories is Derek Harsh. Congratulations to Derek. Welcome to the cabinet. The director of Vikings YouTube hype videos is John Wells. The resident Baker Mayfield lookalike on Purple Daily and Vikings Twitter is Jay Greenleaf. The senior vice president of International Vikings Affairs UK division is Adam Killen. The director of Purple Daily Tumbleweed Operations, Albuquerque region, is Dmitry Rosinski. Congratulations, Dmitry. The vice president of 2009 Brett Favre Memories is Josh Provost. The vice president of Fred Smoot Memories is East Coast Chris.
I love East Coast.
This cabinet's filling up here, guys.
That's a great title.
It's got a few more here. The director of Vikings Madden Gaming Operations is John Rogers.
It's important.
The vice president of Homemade Game Day Juicy Lucy's is Nate Marrera. That's a guy that I want to work closely with.
No kidding.
The outpost gatekeeper of Austria's region is Benjamin Meyer. Purple Daily is global. Not sure if you guys knew that. The East Coast ambassador to Zulgadian Disciples is Kip Nasda.
Kip,
Kip.
I appreciate that.
Our buddy.
The disappointed Vikings youth outreach coordinator is Matt Babinski, helping all of the young Vikings fans cope with early Vikings trauma. You're 7, 8 years old. You don't know what to do. It's the first time you've ever experienced Vikings trauma. That's where Matt
Prepare
comes
yourself,
in.
Matt. Prepare yourself. That's a big responsibility.
For representing Vikings fans who are also Timberwolves fans, the chief Wolves officer is Brian Simonson. Congratulations, Brian. The Purple Daily Cabinet Chaplain, for those of you who are interested in the religious side of things, Stephen Mish. The director of Future Heartbreak Operations is 17-year-old Joel Eisenshank. And finally, the vice president of Yelling at Your TV During Vikings Games, Virginia region, is Sarah Bryant. Welcome to the Purple Daily and Vikings Twitter cabinet. It's great to, wow, we just like quadrupled the size of our cabinet this week.
Yeah?
I don't know what we're going to do going forward when more resumes come in. We probably can't do that every week on the show. So we need to figure out a solution here.
No.
I don't want to say no to people though, because we have so many
appreciate
spots
that.
to hire. So we'll figure something out. Boys, all of these new cabinet members presented by our friend. Maybe we can do a group golf outing at the Meadows at Mystic. Can we do
That'd
like
be
a
great.
group scramble with our cabinet, just like
I'm busy that day,
corporate
sorry, I
outing?
can't go.
Nope, you're coming out. We need to see that swing. We'll have to be a shotgun start right at 6 in the morning. We'll just roll through the entire course. It'll be great. Let's go do it at the Meadows at Mystic Lake, an award-winning 18-hole public golf course. You think just because summer's over, that means golf's over. It's not. Fall golf season is here, so book your tee time now. GolfTheMeadows.com to book your tee time. The Meadows at Mystic Lake. Book your tee time now at GolfTheMeadows.com.
And a shout out to our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. They have a very successful company, in part because the success of their company is measured by the success of your company. They've been working with businesses for over 100 years. Down in Owatonna, Minnesota is where they're headquartered. But you can find out, based on your location, who your marketing rep would be through Federated and all the different resources they could provide you. Federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. So we're looking forward to Vikings Vent Line on Sunday, where we turn the show over to you guys, the most fan-friendly, interactive show in all of Minnesota sports. And congratulations to all of our new Purple Daily and Vikings Twitter cabinet members. We are excited to grow with all of you. See you tomorrow on Purple Daily.